Hopefully by the end of today's video, I will have you 100% convinced that the idea or the concept of a drug relapse is complete and total BS. Because if you're currently struggling with a substance use disorder, just like I once did, you're probably under the assumption or the constant fear that you're going to relapse. And this fear, this constant way of living, is such a dangerous way to live, and it results in a completely unnecessary amount of suffering that I want you to avoid. And I'm gonna help you get through that today by sharing a personal story with you about a recent family vacation I had to Italy, Greece, and Turkey, in which I had what would be considered 3 drug relapses. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name's Dr. Frank. I run addiction recovery coaching programs that help business professionals, so entrepreneurs, CEOs, medical professionals, attorneys, real estate agents, online influencers struggling with substance use. So if you like today's video, be sure to check out the link in the video description and the link in the pinned comment to learn more. All right, so I was recently on a vacation with my family, and we were on a cruise. And the cruise went from Greece to Ephesus, Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey, and then over to Capri, Italy. And it was an 11-day cruise. And you have to understand something about me. I haven't consumed stimulants like caffeine or coffee or anything like that in years. I also haven't consumed alcohol up until recently for about a total of probably 3, maybe 3.5 years. Now, when you're on a cruise ship, you have 24/7 access to alcohol and stimulants and drinks and things like that, but never once did it even cross my mind to consume those things because I truly have zero interest in them at this point in my life. And that's a place that we help people get to, a place where they have zero interest in ever consuming the substance again, or if they do decide to consume the substance again, getting them to a place where they can do that moderately without the fear of relapse or addiction taking over their life again. Anyways, so we landed port, or we docked in Ephesus, Turkey. And in Ephesus, Turkey, me and my family had a private tour guide. And really what the tour was a series of different sales pitches. And I really enjoyed it. Like, I had a fantastic time. But basically our tour guide would take us from place to place, and it would be like a rug manufacturing company. And you would go in and they would offer you apple tea, or they would offer you wine. And basically what you would do is you would sit down and drink wine or drink apple tea. They would show you how they manufacture the rugs, and then they would present you with a bunch of rugs to purchase. They did the same thing at like a leather place where they put on like a private fashion show for me and my family. And they were basically selling like knockoff Armani and Gucci and Louis Vuitton coats and Hermes belt buckles and things like that. And at each of these places, the first thing they would do is offer you alcohol or apple tea. I guess it's like a really sweet tea that they drink over in Turkey. But the last place we went to, so it's the end of the day in Ephesus, Turkey, and we go to this person's, what I believe to be their house, and in the downstairs of their house, they had converted it to like a shop. They had paintings, they had tons of glassware, they had some really nice items, many of which my wife decided to purchase and have shipped back home to New York. But upon getting to this person's house, we were once again offered apple tea or wine. And the gentleman that was hosting us was insistent that we try his son's wine. And he was like, listen, just have a few ounces. I'll give you a little shot glass of it. It's so delicious. Please, 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 please. It's only hospitable of me to offer you some wine and you to have a drink with us. And look, peer pressure doesn't bother me at all. I have no problem saying no. I could say no to the Pope when it comes to having a drink, okay? But in this case, I was like, you know what? How often am I gonna be in Turkey in some guy's house being offered homemade wine? Sure, I'll have a few ounces of your wine. So he gives me some wine, I take a few sips of it, and I'll say, like, it's pretty good. And within just a few moments, maybe a few minutes after drinking a few sips, because it was strong, I started to feel that flush feeling come over my body. I started to feel a little bit lightheaded. I could feel my skin crawl a little, and I didn't like it. I was very quickly reminded why I stopped drinking alcohol. And it's so funny because so many people in addiction recovery are told, never have that drink again, never smoke weed again, never do it, because you're gonna fall in love with it and you're gonna go down this horrible cycle again. And that's just so false. I can tell you that from years of coaching hundreds of business professionals. That's just so false. But anyways, and another reason why I didn't want to drink while I was in Turkey was because I'm in a foreign country. Like, I'm there with my son, I'm there with my wife and my family, and you know, I want to be alert regarding my surroundings, right? Like, the last thing I'd want to do is be drunk or buzzed, and then, God forbid, you know, crap hits the fan, and here I am, too drunk or buzzed to be there for my family. So anyways, I have a few sips, I put it down, and I'm like, yeah, that's really why I probably stopped drinking. But hey, it's the end of the day, no big deal. We're headed back to the cruise ship after this. I'll just go back, take a nap, and then, you know, wake up, go out to dinner, and enjoy the rest of my trip with my family. Now, that night we go back to the cruise ship and it's dinner time, and I did take a nap, but I'm feeling like particularly tired because I did get a little bit of that rush from the alcohol, and alcohol is straight poison, right? It converts to acetaldehyde, your liver can't process it. So I felt crappy, right? So I'm at dinner, we eat dinner, and for dessert, the lady's like, hey, we're in Turkey and we have Turkish coffee. Now, I don't drink stimulants anymore just because I messed up my body so bad from abusing stimulants for so many years. Coffees, espressos, pre-workout powders, like I said, Adderall, Ritalin, I had a small stint with. But in this case, here I am on the cruise ship, looking out over this gorgeous view of Turkey, and I'm like, you know, maybe I want to have some decaf coffee, which I'm well aware decaf coffee still contains caffeine. So I'm like, yeah, give me a decaf Turkish coffee, whatever, that sounds good. So like everything I do, I just get the coffee and I pound it down almost immediately. And mind you, I haven't drank decaf coffee even in like many, many years. No caffeine for several years of my life, no stimulants for several years. And within half an hour, I'm sweaty, I'm clammy, I feel kind of nauseous. My skin is becoming very flush red, and I just feel like crap. So anyways, I spend the rest of my night, you know, I go to the show with my family, we do some dancing, and then it's off to bed. I go to lay down, and lo and behold, I cannot fall asleep for jack. My heart's racing, I'm sweating through my clothes, and I feel terrible. So I wake up, get out of bed, and I go upstairs on the cruise ship and I work until like 3 a.m. in the morning on my computer, on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I was like, son of a gun, Frank. Like, this is why you don't do these things, because, not because you're scared of addiction, not because I was scared that drinking some stimulants and drinking some alcohol was gonna turn me into some out of control animal, but just because I don't like the way these things make me feel. I made that decision 9 years ago when I stopped consuming this stuff. But anyways, I get about 2 hours of sleep, we wake up the next day and our trip continues on. Then, here comes my third relapse. I wind up in, where were we? Not Crete, that was in Greece. Capri, Italy. And we're in Capri, Italy, and it's super hot. And my family needs a place to sit down while we were waiting for the boat to come pick us up to take us back to Naples, Italy, so we could get back on the cruise ship. And while we're waiting for this little private boat to bring us back, I need a place for my family to sit. So I'm talking to a restaurant owner and I'm like, look, we already ate lunch. Could we just get some waters here, get something small and sit at your restaurant? And he's like, yeah, if you get some drinks, because alcohol is the highest markup, he's like, you and your family can sit down here. Well, no one in my family really drinks either. So my father-in-law is like, yeah, I'll get a beer. And I'm looking around and I see someone drinking an Aperol Spritz, which looked incredibly refreshing. And I'm like, you know what? Again, here I am in Italy, looking off the side of this gorgeous cliff. I'll have an Aperol Spritz. So I order an Aperol Spritz for myself. And once again, I drink like probably less than a quarter of it. I take like a few big sips. I start to feel flush. My skin starts to crawl. I start feeling very lightheaded. And I'm like, you know, this just isn't it. It's not giving me the satisfaction that I thought it would. The exact opposite thought process of what they tell you is going to happen when you consume the substance again. And this is such a massive problem within other addiction recovery programs. They talk to you like you're some undisciplined, uncommitted, incapable of making decisions animal. And I want you to understand why I'm telling you, like, I ultimately didn't relapse. It's not because I'm in denial. It's because I don't even believe in relapse. I made 3 separate conscious decisions to consume substances based on a pleasure surrounding the experience that I thought I was going to have with each of those substances. I thought this homemade wine was going to be delicious. I thought the Aperol Spritz was going to be the most refreshing drink in the world. I thought that this Turkish coffee was going to have flavor that I've never experienced before on my taste buds. None of that became true. All that happened was I was like, wow, I really don't like the way these things made me feel. And guess what? I went on with my family trip. There was absolutely zero repercussions. I regret drinking the stimulants the most because I was up literally all night long, and that did somewhat negatively impact my next day. Like, I was a little bit exhausted the next day just because I was up like for an entire 24 hours, and it was already a very like, we're walking, we're going on a lot of tours style trip. But like, nothing happened, right? Like, there was no, oh my God, Frank's going off the wagon. Oh my God, I just threw away 9 years of sobriety. I've said it in other videos, I'm happy that I'm sober, but I don't value my sobriety. I value what I've built in my life over those 9 years. I value the business success that I've had. I value the family success that I've had. I value the physical and mental health success that I've had. I don't care about drinking a glass of wine. I don't care about drinking a thing of Turkish coffee. I wouldn't care if I decided to have a cigar with someone in Greece or Istanbul, Turkey, if that's what I felt I wanted to do. It doesn't matter to me. And so many people go into this concept of addiction and addiction recovery, and they're so protective of these things called their sober days, and they get so focused on it. And then this is where the ideology of a drug relapse can become literally detrimental. And then what happens is people think they threw everything away. They think that there's some unhinged animal, despite the fact that they built a beautiful business, a beautiful family for themselves, a beautiful career for themselves, like many of the high performance individuals we work with have. And then they think it's all gone because they had a drink, a smoke. It's absurd, and it's a mentality that requires a lot of reprogramming, a lot of deprogramming, and a lot of reprogramming. And that's exactly what we do inside our one-on-one coaching with our addiction exit protocol. Now, it's funny because when we were coming back from Capri, Italy on the boat, there was another couple on the boat with us. It was like a hydrofoil type boat, okay? And basically, this couple, two very successful gentlemen, and I know they were successful because we were talking about business, but they were drunk out of their minds. They're both vaping on the boat, and this is like maybe the one place in Italy that I saw like a no smoking, no vaping sign on this boat. And they're vaping, they're drunk as hell, their wives are drunk as hell, and the one guy like even passed out on the 20-minute ride back. Passes out with his vape in his hand. It was pathetic looking, honestly. The behavior was pathetic, and it was just pathetic. But on this boat ride back, what happened was this couple that was really drunk, really successful couple, like this, the classic type of person that I might be working with. Maybe not that loud and I guess I'll say obnoxious, but they wind up getting in a fight with another couple on the boat because they were being super loud and exuberant, which I didn't care. They're on vacation, they're having a good time, they're a little drunk, so what? But they started to piss off other people on the boat. So then one guy's wife starts screaming at this guy's wife that they're being too loud. She starts snapping back, and for 20 minutes, it's these two wives screaming at each other while the husband's passed out with a vape falling off of his chest, and the other husband's then getting involved and getting really loud and exuberant. And all I'm thinking is, like, what embarrassing behavior this is for everyone. Like, here you are, the CEO of, he was the CEO, I guess, of like a massive like toy production company or something like that. And like, I was just like, what are you doing? Like, one, this argument isn't even worth your time. Like, I bet if you were sober, you wouldn't even entertain this argument right now. Because, like, someone who built a business like you wouldn't even be entertaining this argument. But, like, here you are on a boat in a foreign country fighting with other people. Like, this is just so pathetic. Passing out, hitting your vape, like, I don't know. I'm just so glad that I can travel now with my family and either not drink alcohol at all and have a fantastic time, which has been a majority in my life for the last several years, or B, decide if I want to have a cocktail have a cocktail without ever having to worry about a binge drinking disorder, or that drink of alcohol is going to lead me to go talk to the busboy, to go get weed, to go figure out how I'm going to smoke on the cruise at night when my family goes to fall asleep. It's so nice living without the fear of relapse, because I've completely reprogrammed my mindset to understand that relapse, quite frankly, doesn't exist. It starts with a mindset flaw, and so many people are flawed. And it's especially dangerous with high performance individuals because they have that obsessive all-in mentality. So they adopt this to extremes when it comes to relapse. That's why so many people I work with tend to call me after a relapse and they're like, I just can't stop, I'm totally out of control. And it's like, I have to remind them, no, you're not. Who told you that? And often it was some $30,000 a month, $90,000 a month rehab facility that told them that, which is just so insane to me. It's sad. It saddens me. That's why I put so much effort into these videos. And I guess that's why we have the business we have today, helping people. So if any of this appeals to you, if you are a business owner, if you are a medical professional, if you're someone who values privacy, if you're someone who wants to continue traveling and not put yourself in a rehab for 90 days, I want you to check out that link in the video description, because you never have to worry about relapse again. Whether you decide to completely stop using substances or eventually return to moderate use, that is something you never have to experience again. But we have to get you in the right mindset. So there's my story about relapse, when in fact I didn't actually relapse, but many people in the comments are going to say it. You'll see people, reset your sober date, do it over again. No, I don't care about it. I don't even know what the date was. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant in my life. And that's a place I want to get you guys to. It's good to be proud of it first. It's good to be proud of the hard things that you go through. Maybe if you do go through withdrawal and you do have some struggle to quit. But beyond that, we want you to, I don't want sobriety. I don't want addiction recovery. I don't want drugs to be part of your life anymore. I don't want it to be part of your identity. And that's what I help people accomplish. So again, check out the link in the video description. Otherwise, just hit me up in the next video. I filmed it while I was on the cruise, talking a little bit about how to manage cannabis withdrawal symptoms. Until next time.